Hello there guys, welcome to the Stamford Boys YouTube channel, and as I always tell you guys, this is a feel good YouTube channel and this is your Chelsea versus Crystal Palace match review. Okay, so first things first, I want us to look at the Chelsea growth from April, where we have won a minimum at least 16 matches out of the last 18. First of all, we qualified for the Champions League. Of course, we got the fourth spot. Then we went ahead and beat Real Betis 4-1 to win the Conference League, after which we went into the Club World Cup where we did wonders. So we are starting the new season, and this is coming off of winning the Club World Cup where we beat the the European champions 3-0. I remember that match. Anyways, let's talk about the new players that we brought in. Now, I don't know where I should start. Maybe I should start with the number 9s because we brought in a few number 9s. We also brought in a few wingers. We have a few new midfielders. So I would rather start with Mark Cucurella's backup. Now, we have Yoro Hato, who is currently Mark Cucurella's backup. And remember, Mark Cucurella has been one of our best left back, and you could always feel the imagination of the fans if something, maybe an injury happened to Mark. So now we have a backup, so we are safe. Apart from that, we brought in a few strikers. We brought Liam Delap from Ipswich. We brought Joao Pedro from Brighton. Now, I know Chelsea fans already have an idea of which number 9 is going to be starting, but I'm very sure nobody is having Nicholas Jackson in a starting lineup. Now, apart from that, we also brought in a few wingers. We have brought in Jamie Gittens, of course, from Borussia Dortmund. We have brought in Estevao William. Of course, I know everybody is having Estevao William in their mind. So we have Estevao William. In the midfield, we have brought in Aloni that we had given to Racing Strasbourg. So we have brought in Andre Santos, and by the way, he is a tidy midfielder. And a big shout out, by the way, Andre Santos might end up benching one of our midfielders. I don't want to give names as at now. Okay, another midfielder that we have is Dario Esugo. We have Dario Esugo to back up Moises Caicedo. And by the way, we have the most stacked midfield in the Premier League at the moment, because just imagine, we have Moses Caicedo, we have Romeo Lavia, we have Andre Santos, we have Enzo Fernandez, we also have Dario Esugo. So basically our midfield is perhaps the best midfield you would ask for. Now, what do we expect from Chelsea this season? Personally, I expect a very high performing team, number one. Number two, I expect a team that is not going to have a blip like we had last time, because you remember last season we started very well for the first 6 months. Then we had a blip for around 3 months. December, January, February, we had a difficult moment. And then we picked up from there all through to the Club World Cup final, and of course the recent friendlies that we have seen. So basically, and this is coming off of the number of players that we have brought in. So I'm imagining a scenario where if Joao Pedro stops scoring, because I expect perhaps he could be the starting striker. If Joao Pedro stops getting goals, then we have Liam Delap. If Pedro Neto stops performing well, then we have Estevao William. If say Cole Palmer is not doing as good as we expect from him, we expect, of course, to buy Xavi Simons from Leipzig. So that could be an option for the coach. Now, talking about the midfield, if say Fernandez is out of form, we have Andre Santos. If maybe Caicedo is a little bit tired, we have Dario Esugo. So basically, I think the strengthening that we have done to our squad gives us some kind of strength in terms of those moments of having a difficult moment in terms of the squad. We can freshen up the squad and the performance can stay up there. Now, I want to mention a few things that Enzo Maresca talked about in his press conference yesterday. Now, Enzo Maresca, the first thing that was notable from the press conference is that he said Chelsea needs a new centre back. Personally, if I was deciding, I would say Chelsea does not need a new centre back. But Enzo Maresca is the world champion, so he has the right to say what he wants. So Maresca said Chelsea needs a new centre back, and the reason he said that obviously is because Levi Colwill suffered an ACL injury which puts him out of the team for a minimum of 6 months, and of course with this kind of long-term injuries, you know, these players can at some periods it can extend. So maybe he could possibly be out for maybe 8 months or so. So that is that. But for me, I think Trevor Chalobah would be a good replacement. But what I heard Maresca say is that it's not about having the number of centre backs. It's about having the centre back that can perfectly play the role that Levi Colwill was playing, which is, of course, playing out from the back. And he mentioned that the only centre back that we have right now that can do that role perfectly is Tosin Adrabioyo only. So that gives us a problem because, of course, last season we played around 64 matches. So you can imagine 64 matches with one ball playing centre back. That's a difficulty, and it's something I understand where Maresca is coming from when he says that Chelsea actually need a new centre back. Well, so we have talked about the Levi Colwill injury. Now let's look at Crystal Palace. Number one, Crystal Palace are FA Cup champions, which they won off the back of beating Manchester City. Of course, you know Manchester City is not just a simple team. Number two, they recently won the Community Shield, beating the Premier League champions again in Liverpool. So basically, we are not expecting a simple game against Crystal Palace. Another thing to note about Crystal Palace is that they are unbeaten in their last 9 consecutive fixtures, which includes, of course, the beating of Man City and the Liverpool beating in the Community Shield showdown. Of course, you have heard the rumors that Liverpool are looking for a defender, and they are targeting the England international Mark Gahey, who currently plays for Crystal Palace. So we know the backline of Crystal Palace is not going to be a simple backline to get through. So they have a good defense. So, but again, Chelsea also has a good attack. So I guess that would be a good matchup with Mark Gahey there. But Crystal Palace attack is also a good attack because there are a few players in that Crystal Palace attack that I want to mention. Now, Eberechi Eze and Felipe Mateta will be a thorn in the flesh. Of course, I'm expecting Trevor Chalobah and Tosin Adrabioyo to start in those two centre-back positions. So these two players are going to be facing head-to-head with Trevor Chalobah and Tosin Adrabioyo. Basically, I expect Trevor Chalobah and Tosin to come out on top, but it's good to note that Crystal Palace have scored in each and every match that they have played in 2025, except only 2 matches. So basically, if you sleep a little bit, you concede a goal. And now, over to the prediction. Well, Chelsea are world champions. Chelsea beat PSG 3-0 in the Club World Cup final. Chelsea beat Fluminense 2-0 in the Club World Cup. Chelsea beat Benfica 4-1 in the Club World Cup. Chelsea beat Liverpool 3-1. Chelsea beat Manchester United 1-0 last season. Chelsea won the Conference League in a 4-1 thriller in that final. Cole Palmer scored 2 goals in the final. Joao Pedro scored 3 goals in the semi-final and the final. I expect Chelsea to win. This will be a 2-0 win. Come on, you Blues!